Hello and welcome to another MX Bikes video. How lovely! So we are doing a track review of Baily MX Pro made by Janes46. I hope I'm saying that right, Janes46. So the reason I'm doing the track review here is because this is actually round 3 of the 125 EMS Championship. So I thought, what better way to get some practice than to get my ass out on this track for the first time. I literally had a quick bit round on the 250F, but I thought, you know what, we're going to do this on the 125 since we have to practice here as well. So so far the 125 championship has been going great. I've qualified for every round, scored some points, and the goal is to qualify here. I love those Lucas Oil banners, they look so sick. And we're going to do a little bit of a track review, just ride around, and I'll pause the video here just to give you a quick overview of the track. I'll also link the description in the track below, so if you guys want to try this out, I highly recommend it. I've literally done a lap. The track's fairly long, I think it's a good 2 minutes. But one thing I did notice before we start anything, let's quiet the bike down, because look at that scenery. That scenery is awesome.
It's so beautiful.
So I took a lap around here, and I genuinely felt like, I don't know if it was meant to be this, but I was in the British countryside. I quite often watch my uncle race, and I really did feel like I was at a legit track here. So that scenery is absolutely bloody gorgeous. So let's have a little look at this track. Wide open on the 125. The one thing I did notice straight away, now I'm not going to have many bugbears with this, but the textures of the track sometimes make it a little bit difficult to see the upcoming corners. Now that may just be because I got terrible eyes and I do wear glasses for gaming and I jumped off the side of the track. But I did find some of the ruts I had to like really look ahead for, and that just could be just me being a dumbass, I don't know. But the actual flow of the track is pretty sick. It's not overly technical, but at the same time it's going to take a pretty skilled rider to go fast here, because there are so many line choices. But and a couple of split sections like this. I think that's a double. Yeah, there we go. And the reason I like this track so much is because of the line variation, which will take like a good few hundred laps to really, oh my god, nail down the fast line and get good at it. I think this will be a great racing track because of the line variation as well. Like sometimes the base tracks are just a little too one line, there's not enough variation in them. Oh god, come on man, get it together. Whereas this has ridiculous amounts of lines, it's passing points, and yeah, it's just got a pretty decent flow to it. Not that I've been showing that. There's nothing overly too rough on here, but there are some cool little braking bumps and stuff like that. And just look at that scenery. That scenery is just awesome. I found myself actually looking out at the scenery a few times instead of focusing on the lap itself. I imagine this is going to be absolutely fully wide open on a 125 almost everywhere. That inside line's quite nice. But you look at all the different line variations and stuff. There's a couple of little rough points. I didn't know what the track deforms like. That would be quite interesting to see. But I like slightly wider tracks like this, because I think the EMS is going for like a 25 to 30 man gate. And well, as you've seen from the last couple of races, if you have watched them, thank you very much. If you haven't, I will link the playlist up in the top right hand corner here. The tracks have been good so far. Maybe not Steel City, but they were chaotic because everyone was so close together. Whereas this has some like a nice wide open field, so you kind of might not get mixed up in the chaos a little bit. So far, considering I've only burned a lap on this, this is a pretty cool track. Like you see down here, these turns, these ruts hold you fairly well, and it's fairly rough as well. It's not like completely glassy smooth. Got a double. Get over that, son. The only thing I would say is this is just a personal preference, and maybe I've not put enough time into this track to give it a fair evaluation. But there's one thing. Oh my god! I only tapped the front brake gently there. Yeah, there's one thing I really like about tracks is when they have like a real variation of speed, and by what I mean by that is I'm not just absolutely hammered everywhere. I've got like there's sections where if you don't brake and you don't slow down and you set something up with a bit of technique, that you kind of get punished for not doing so. And so far this seems wide open, but however, it's not an easy wide open track in the sense of it's all instantly straight out on the fast line. There's some real line variations here, so I think the quicker guys will pick up on that straight away. Interestingly, it's really funny watching, that was a 6 scrub, watching oh god, trying to focus on talk. Watching guys that have raced for real or played a shit ton of motocross games for real, because you'll see them, god man, come on man, you'll see them pick out lines that I would just never even consider doing. And I play with my uncle quite a lot. That come out very wrong. Police, if you are listening, I don't play with him in that way. When we're playing bikes together, I just see him try stuff that I like don't even consider. I'm like, oh, I find this wicked line after lap 100. He's like, yeah, I was doing that straight away. So it's quite interesting to see those top level guys or guys that have raced before just be really creative with their line choices. And I think this is going to be one of those tracks. But this is going to be round 3 of the EMS. So I'm going to put there's no race again this Monday, so I will have something in the pipeline for them. That's a cool little step up. Seems like the 125 is absolutely capable of doing everything on this track, which is great. There'll be a lot of 5th gear stuff here, I can imagine. I'm probably a little bit too low in the box. That looks like that should be a triple into this big step down here. Wonder if it's better to clear that and then hit that section from there. Might try that section on the right in a second. Oh god, oh god. I can imagine just by looking at my time now, what have I done at 2:10, 10 seconds out, a clean lap. If someone with decent speed is going to put you around the 2-minute mark, and I can imagine the two guys that are going to be, the quick guys are going to be low 150s, high 140s by the time this race rolls around. But overall, I'd say this is a pretty decent track. It's got enough variation to keep you interested. It keeps you on your toes with the cornering. There's some great cornering ruts and stuff here. And I do like a track that helps you pick up your corner speed a little bit. Like it's not, what the hell was that? It's not all about the jumps or anything like that, or rhythm sections. Like I do like a track that, oh my god, man, get it together. That rewards people for having good corner speed and good line choice, and helps you benefit by getting better in the corners as well. Alright, let's do one more lap. Whenever that is, I don't even know whether... Oh, is this the finish line here? Yeah, that's the finish line there. Cool. So that's a big tabletop over. This inside line looks like it's going to be the premier line from there. Set you up there. If I were to critique this a little bit, I think having banners around certain key elements of the track where it splits like that would be really beneficial. Just to kind of get your eye line right onto the racing line, rather than being like, oh, there's a split section here, like where does it 100% go? The textures are cool, the backdrop scenery is amazing, pretty wide open. I don't hate wide open tracks, I just feel like they're not boring. I don't like, sometimes I just like a little bit of variation of speed, if you know what I mean. That's the only thing I would say. I can imagine this took a lot of time though, so it's overall it's a pretty decent track. I do like the line variations. Like there's 3 lines going into that corner. Obviously there'll be a quick line everywhere, but when you're in traffic or you're getting lapped or you're lapping someone, it's nice to have that variation of line just to mix it up, and it may be half a second slower. It may, you know, stop you from going down or getting packed up, and allow for a 4-5 rider battle, which is always nice. break there. Quite like this though. I'm always a little bit afraid of uploading content like this because when you've literally done a lap on a track, part of you's like, oh, do I want to upload something where I'm constantly falling over? But I want to give an honest track review as well of what are my first impressions. So there is a part of me that's like, oh, do I want to at least have a decent lap time before I do this because it'd be entertaining to watch? But I'd rather just go out there and be authentic and do it. It's weird in that pressure when you see other people uploading content and they're just so much quicker and better. You're like, oh, I want to make sure that I'm fairly decent at this track because it will mean that people have a more entertaining time. However, I would have probably formulated a different opinion then. So I like to do these track reviews on when I first get on them. How is it? What's the flow like? What are the corners like? What's the scenery like? What's the racecraft like? Where do I think the lines will be and all that sort of stuff. So this is good. I'm enjoying this. For a wide open track, this is one of the better ones. And inevitably, I'll have to put a lot of practice up here because this is the next racing round. So what will be quite good as well is, so I broke the 2-minute mark here. What will be good is when race day comes around and qualification time, how much quicker I can go. So I could easily probably drop another 10 seconds off this lap time, finding the quick lines and stuff. And then it's about being consistent, finding that line and seeing where you can place. Currently, oh, I thought that went left for a second. Idiot. But yeah, the 125 is fully capable of doing this track, which is good. You always have those hesitations when it must be hard as the organisation of the race championship because 125s might struggle in certain places and that, whereas this happily doesn't. Oh, I should have braked there. God damn it. It's like looking at the outside line, like, hang on, I remember the inside here being really good. Oh, silly boy. My mistake there. Track deform seems fairly small, so I'd say this probably isn't going to get that rough with 30 guys on here. Need to be a little bit higher up in the box, I think. This is going to be like a 4/5 gear jobby nearly everywhere. Quite a cool corner. Let's scrub this. Ah! I think once you nail this track, it'll be fairly easy to be consistent. Then it'll just be about maintaining that pace and going for it. Although I've fallen off loads here, I think give yourself 10-20 laps on this of proper hard testing. That should be 5th gear all day long there on a 125. Oh my god. Once you figure out all the correct gear and all the speed and everything, yeah, this will be a good racetrack. This is it, the final corner coming up. Probably not quick, these outside lines, but they just feel good. They just feel good. Rah. Ooh, could have been a little bit shorter there, son. I have no idea what this is, so we're going to just send it. Yeah, it worked out beautifully. If in doubt, send it out. That doesn't count for dick pics, so double check your thought process on that one. No one likes a fleshy meat stick as a random picture. Ah! Well, this last lap has been a disaster. That's it. Right, that is it. So, yeah, what do I think about this track? Definitely worth a download. Go check it out. Overall presentation and everything is pretty damn good with the scenery. I personally, on a personal level, I'm not a massive fan of the complete wide open tracks. However, this does have enough line variation, jump variation, and roughness to warrant a download, I think. This will be an interesting one for racing. I'm guessing it has enough gates for a 30-man race. So yeah, congrats to Jones for making this. I will link everything down below. And if you fancy seeing more of these, I will create a playlist. Or if you want to see some of the old 125 racing, all of that will be in front of you now. Check it out because that click-through rate and stuff, and you watching my videos is always a massive help. We're clearing close to that 500 sub mark now, so if you sub, I will be eternally grateful, and just enjoying this journey so far. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and on to the next one. See you later. Love, 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 love.